You can run the best drills, invest in top equipment, design the perfect game plan, and still watch your team underperform when it matters most. Today, I'm going to tell you the 10 clear signs that your team is ready for mindset training. And most importantly, what you can do next if you're seeing these signs.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Mindset training is no longer a nice to have extra that is reserved for the elite professional programs only. It is a competitive necessity. Thanks for joining me today on The Champion Within. This is your host, Kate McCauley, and I am going to get right to these 10 signs today. Chances are, as you're listening to this podcast today, and maybe we get to number 2 or 3, and you're nodding your head thinking, yes, my athletes are saying that. They're doing this. I'm seeing this happen. What do we do? Tell us. Give us the good stuff. This is where you're going to be taking some notes, writing some things down. I'm going to give you all that stuff. So stay tuned, get ready to pause, maybe take some notes in your phone. If you're old school like me, you're going to jot it down. All right, let's get to it. Number 1, and this is going to sound obvious, but pay attention to this. Performance drops under pressure. You're practicing with your team and your athletes are looking sharp. Their skills are clean. They execute it. They're just on a high. They seem locked in. Game day, competition shows up, everything changes. Suddenly, they're tight. They're reactive instead of proactive. They're making mistakes they never make in training. This practice player versus the game day player or competition player, this gap is one of the biggest indicators that mindset, not mechanics, is holding your team back. Athletes who haven't learned how to manage their nervous system, that is what is making them underperform when those stakes rise. That mindset training, it is going to teach your athlete to understand what is happening literally in their body and their mind, their brain when the pressure happens, and how they can respond instead of react. And when they get the right tools to calm their nervous system, they can deal with that so that they can stay present, trust their training, and actually perform at that peak level when they compete. We need to teach them to recognize it. And then what are we going to do with it? How do we calm the nervous system? Number 2, related to this self-talk, negative self-talk is the norm. This is a norm. If you notice this with your team, listen closely to your athletes after they make a mistake. Do you hear them saying, that was awful. I always mess up. Don't give me the ball. There's this inner and sometimes outer where they're literally saying it out loud, and it's really powerful. Negative self-talk doesn't just describe the performance, it shapes it. When their default response is in this setback, criticism, shame, even if it's sarcastic, mistakes, they're going to multiply. Confidence absolutely is dropping. Your athletes begin to play small and they avoid failing. Think back right now. Think about what they say. In this situation, again, we're recognizing what's happening here and they have to flip the script. They can say these things. I'm not saying we should push it down and not say it, and we have to bring that up with them. But we need them to recognize and interrupt the pattern. In this situation, I would be teaching them reframing, visualization, I would be guiding them through, emotional freedom tapping or EFT, where it gives them a way to release this emotional charge, and it's going to create a more helpful pattern of thinking. We literally have to break that pattern that is coming through and change it, quite literally rewiring their brain. And over time, they learn to replace it. They replace that I can't with I'm learning. And the I always blow it with next play or next move or simply next. Number 3, blame, excuses, and the finger pointing. You can feel it in the locker room and on the sidelines. I want you to be honest right now. When things go wrong, do eyes start darting around? Is it the ref, the field, the weather, the teammate who missed some play that was supposed to be made? Maybe they're blaming it on a coach who didn't make the right call. If your team goes quickly to blame and excuses, this is a strong sign that they are missing one of the most important performance skills, ownership. Without ownership, your athletes don't feel empowered to change anything. The story becomes this. This happened to us instead of here's what we can control next. When a team is involved in mental training, this is building personal and collective accountability, and it's in a way that doesn't shame or tear people down. It's through guided reflection, performance reviews, and intentional language. Your athletes literally start to learn to ask, what did I bring to this? What can I adjust next time? How can I support my teammates better? Notice how I'm emphasizing the I. This ownership turns blame into learning. I am probably saying it over and over on repeat. And if any of my teams, my coaches are listening, they're like, here she goes again. It is feedback. Every time that we make a mistake or we do something great, that is feedback. You need that feedback in order to learn. And that's how we turn learning into results. Number 4, fear of failure is holding them back. When your athletes start playing not to lose instead of playing to win, you're going to see this immediately. They hesitate instead of attacking. They choose the safe pass, the conservative option, the comfortable role. They avoid risk, and with that, honestly, they avoid growth. Fear of failure is going to show up in a lot of different ways. They might be overthinking a simple skill. They're saying things like, I hope, instead of I will, or we hope that we can do this, instead of we got this. When I was talking with an athlete recently, talking about something that wasn't going well in her college experience, she said something about, well, I was really good at high school and now everyone's really good in college. She started to talk so negatively about herself, and I had her stop. I could tell during this conversation, she didn't think she belonged there. Through some reflection and getting her to say it herself, I didn't say it for her, that she was there for a reason. She was good enough to be there. She forgot. And she started saying, well, I was good in high school. I guess I was the best player. And I got real quiet, and I think she sensed it, and probably my facial expressions give things away a lot of times. And she's like, well, I don't want to brag. I'm like, no. Brag. Own it. You were really good in high school. Stop saying that. She's a D1 player, for God's sakes. Of course you deserve to be there. And I made her talk about how good she is and how she does deserve to be there. They forget sometimes because that negativity, that overthinking takes over. Sometimes they might be passing up opportunities that they are really capable of handling. They're saying things like, I'm not really sure if I can. And we want that to change to a simple, I can. They avoid leadership or new roles. I really couldn't believe this one time when a captain of a cheerleading squad said, I have no idea why they voted me as captain. I looked her dead in the eye and said, I need you to change that statement right now. I need you to tell me exactly why you are the captain of this team. And she and I just hung out for a little bit and we talked about it. And thankfully, this happened just me and her, this small little conversation that she said, I have no idea why they voted me. I was really thrown when she said it because she is one of the strongest female athletes I had ever worked with. And I worked with this entire team. But anyway, they say things like this sometimes. You're seeing this, you're hearing this from your team. They avoid these leadership roles or they say things like that. Like, why would have they picked me? Underneath all of this is a belief that mistakes define them, that failing is something that they need to be afraid of. They fear it, that it's not a normal part of the progress. I don't know where they got this along the way, but this is what many of your athletes are thinking, and they're repeating this. It's a loop in their head. Athletes learn to normalize being uncomfortable. And then they start to see that when we have these uncomfortable moments, that's when we have growth, and that it's a necessary step to get towards their true potential. And then they're not terrified of messing up. They're free to just get in the flow, and they free up this mental space and courage to compete fully. It's actually a really cool thing to see happen. Number 5, talent is really high on your team, but the consistency is low. You know that the team has the talent. The problem is you don't know which version of them that is going to show up. One game, they look unstoppable. The next, unrecognizable. If athletes don't have a repeatable process to get ready physically and mentally, their results naturally are going to swing back and forth with their mood, their day at school, the last thing that somebody said to them, something somebody yells from the bleachers. Mindset training, it gives them the process, and things like breath work, visualization is what I would teach them. Pre-game, post-game, even with you as the coach, teaching them and you how to do this in a timeout before they step onto the mat to compete, depending on the sport, we work it in. They learn to flip the switch, and quite literally, they have this consistent performance state. Instead of waiting to feel confident or locked in just because you have that motto as a team, they know how to create it. It's not just words on the back of a t-shirt. This is going to turn talent into something that you can count on, not the, I hope it happens. Number 6, emotional highs and emotional lows. And that is running the show for you. So after a big win, let's say you just had a really great game, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like a playoff or a big competition, but it was just a really big win. The team is sky high, loud, confident, maybe even a little cocky. But after a loss, they are crushed. They're withdrawn, shut down. They turn on each other. They're just straight nasty. Practices after that tough game, flat. You end up coaching effort and energy more than skills and strategy. Emotions are human. Let's remember that. They're not the enemy. But when your team's emotional state swings wildly from game to game, so is their performance. And they need to learn how to feel these emotions without being controlled by them. It is a critical part of any athletic maturity. And with mental mindset training, athletes build emotional awareness and learn how to regulate it. Techniques like intentional breathing, EFT, that emotional freedom tapping, is going to calm their nervous system quickly. When they're guided in reflection, that's where I come in and guide them through. It's a tough love situation sometimes, but it helps them understand why they're feeling this way. When we share as a group collectively, it is so powerful. The goal isn't to become robots and stay completely grounded enough and that we are perfect, everything's sunshine and rainbows. I ride my unicorn here. Get the hell out of here. No, that's not what we do. But it is to compete, to lead and respond no matter what happens or what the scoreboard says. Number 7, your leaders are quiet or they're really overwhelmed. Every team has leaders, whether they wear this captain badge or title or not. The question here is, are your leaders actually leading, or are they just the loudest voices in the room? If your captains hesitate to speak up, if they avoid hard conversations, or they shrink under pressure, that's a sign that they and the entire team needs mental performance tools, not just the title of I am the captain. On the other side, if your vocal leaders default to calling people out, criticizing, or emotionally reacting, they may be influencing the culture in ways that are hurting your performance and you don't even know how bad. When you put mental performance training in, this supports mindset in so many different ways. Leadership development happens, of course, for the people that have these titles as leadership or captains, but it's helping every athlete build confidence in their own voice and their presence. It's helping people communicate clearly and directly without attacking other people. And think about that, not only for sports, but for school and in life. We want that for every person and athlete. It helps them handle the pressure that's going to come with being that go-to player if they are the captain. When leaders are grounded and they have these skills, the rest of the team follows. It's this ripple effect. You want your captains to be the one that sets the tone in a good way. I need to jump in here. Coach, quick question. Do your athletes look amazing at practice? But when the game gets tight or you have a big competition, they panic, lose focus, fall apart, start talking negatively before they even compete, missed plays, bad body language, heads down. You know they have the talent, but pressure is winning. That's not a talent problem. That's a mental side of the sport problem. I run a team program called The Champion Within, where I train athletes using my CHAMP framework: confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. I literally retrain their brains so they know how to stay calm, get focused, and compete like the champions they are. When the moments get big, they need to know how to regulate their nervous system. It needs to be automatic. The teams that win consistently, they train their minds, not just their bodies. Just go down to the show notes, click on the link, or send me a DM on Instagram with the word team, and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. Number 8, your team is stuck on a plateau. You're not getting worse, but you're not getting better either. Your performance has just pretty much leveled off. You're tweaking drills, conditioning, you bring in new ideas, but your results are pretty much the same. When your athletes start working on beliefs, identity, focus, and emotional resilience, they can access a higher level of their existing physical ability. They're not just learning new skills, they're actually removing these invisible mental barriers that were keeping their current skills from showing up whenever they're competing. This is where the real performance jump is going to happen. Number 9. Injuries, setbacks, and comebacks are dragging everybody down. Everybody is going to experience injuries differently. Sometimes when you have an athlete who is injured, it can impact more than the injured athlete. Roles change. Even if it's mid-season, it's going to change things. Coaching decisions, the way athletes respond in these moments has a massive impact on their long-term development and this overall team environment. If injured athletes disconnect and they become bitter or they lose their identity without their sport, it is 100% affecting your culture. Whether or not you believe it or see it, it's happening. And if healthy players are fearing injury so much that they pull back, obviously this is affecting their performance individually and as the team. Mental performance training is going to help your athletes process setbacks, whether they are injured or they're playing to not get injured. They're going to learn that they can separate their worth from their current circumstance. They can stay engaged as leaders and teammates. You 100% can use visualization and mental reps to stay sharp. You can rebuild confidence when they return back to competition. This is a great way for you to stay stronger with that comeback, or if you're out for the whole season. There's so many things that you can do here, but it has to be done intentionally from the inside out. Remember that when one of your athletes is injured, they're looking to you as the coach. How do you care about me as a person? Mental performance is the key here. Number 10, our last one. You're doing all the things, in quotes there, and still something is missing. You've upgraded the strength program. Practices are purposeful. You're investing all the time, energy, resources, and it's at a high level. Yet there's really this nagging sense that your team just isn't fully unlocked. And you can feel that there's more in them. And your feeling isn't wrong. It's a sign that you are ready to add the missing piece, a structured mental performance plan. When you combine A sound physical training program with mindset coaching like visualization, breath work, all these emotional tools I've been talking about, and you give your athletes the complete support they need to succeed, you unlock this champion that is in them. It's been there the whole time. And when we work with coaches, parents, and the athletes together, it's that whole package. They are free to become exactly who they are meant to be and get in that flow state at peak performance. If you recognize your team at even a few of these signs, performance drops under pressure, negative self-talk, emotional swings, blame, fear of failure, inconsistency, it is not a reflection of poor character or weak coaching. It is simply proof that your athletes are human and they haven't yet been taught mental skills that match the physical demands that are being placed on them. Mindset isn't magic, but it is trainable. Just like strength and skills, it develops with intentional practice, guided coaching, and time. When you invest in mental performance training, you're not only improving performance, you're building more confident, resilient, self-aware young people who can carry these tools far beyond the field, court, track. If you're ready to help your team close the gap between what they're capable of and what they're actually doing in competition, this is your moment. Start the conversation. Bring mindset into your program on purpose, not as an afterthought. Your athletes are ready for it and their results are going to show it. Get down to the show notes, click on the link, and let's start the conversation. Thanks for hanging out with me on The Champion Within. Have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.